Okay, today we're going to be replacing ignition switch here. This is a 1930 Model A pickup truck, and so we're going to take you through the steps for doing this. First thing is the instrument panel here is held on by 4 screws. There's 2 in the top and there's 2 down on the bottom. And I already took the 2 on the bottom off just for being able to get through this a little bit more quickly. And again, we're going to take off the top 2 screws. Oops. And there we go. And then once we have those 2 screws out, we see here we have our ignition switch. Let's see if we can get this into the video. Here's the back of our ignition switch. And so I'm going to change the camera angle here so that you can get a better view of this. And actually, let me take this off. Let's take this out. This is a replacement key, so it's not, it looks a little bit similar to the front, but it's not the true pop-out style. And so we're going to be replacing this with one that's more of a pop-out reproduction. This switch we no longer have the keys for, so that's another reason for switching it out. And so we're going to remove your 2 wires on the back. This switch was also set up here for if you ever wanted an accessory on this one, there is a 3rd connector on the back. And we don't need that right now, and the new switch we have is, again, more like the original pop-out, and so it doesn't have the accessory. You see there's the 3 connectors on there. And so we'll go ahead and pause here. We'll move the camera to a better angle, and we'll go ahead and we'll show you now how we start replacing the new switch. Okay, once we have our wires on, we're going to be going ahead, and what we did is there were 3 set screws in here. There's also a 3/32 hex in the bottom. We removed that because with this one we won't need it, because these 2 set screws will line up on our instrument panel. And once we have those in place, then here on the side, I don't know if you can see that, there is a hole already drilled out, tapped out, and we can put our 3rd set screw back in there to hold that in place. It's a good thing this is magnetic. Yeah, and then we tighten that down. All right, so that's in, and then the last step would be, what we want to make sure is that our wires aren't touching the back plate at all. Let me see if we can see this inside here. If they're touching there, that'll short out, and then we won't, of course, be able to, it'll constantly want to be starting the engine, and we won't be able to use it as an on-off key. So that's it for now. We'll go ahead, and all we have to do is then put in our last 4 screws, and then our instrument panel's ready. Probably the other thing we're going to do in the future, you can see that this was actually, there's like a black plate that was here. Some of them say on-off on them. Others are just a plain black plate. We'll go ahead and probably replace that. The person who had this years ago, they actually removed this, and then they had to chisel out just a little bit to make it wider for the switch that they put in there. Okay, and there we go. There's our instrument panel put back together, and you can see we've got our pop-out ignition switch in there, and put the key in and turn it, and there we go. So that's our first Model A project. The next one we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in a new battery in this unit, and we'll go ahead and we'll video that too and show you how we do that. And as we continue to restore and upgrade and clean up this is, again, it's a 1930 Model A pickup truck, and we'll have a still shot of it on the site. And again, if you have any comments, please feel free to comment. If you have questions, send your questions. We're just learning about the Model A, so what we might have to do is just refer you to other sources that are out there if we don't know the correct answer for you. But we're willing to try and willing to hear any comments and suggestions you may have. Like us if you want, and go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you next time here on Project 128.